So today on the podcast,
That's
we're
fine,
gonna
fine.
talk about defects. Just
Defects.
fucking talk.
What are
cunt.
they, and how do they affect you? Find out on the Instigators podcast. Hi, my name's Darius. In this episode, we'll be exploring
Darius
things
looks like a
like
straight fucking
defects from
mannequin.
state to state, how we handle cops, posting stories about defects, and other cringe things. At the end, we're gonna rank the cars. It's Darius coming at you, the Instigators. It's number 4.
All right. No, we should actually talk about different, like how defects are handled differently in state. Because I mean, I don't know how they're dealt with in Victoria or wherever the fuck you are, Caleb. Or are you Melbourne or Victoria? They're different
Your
state to
mum's
state.
bedroom.
Good one, bro. Got the whole squad laughing. But how? Nah, like you guys don't get your cars crushed. I know in Queensland you get your car crushed if you have it out too many times, like with the same defect.
Yes, we can.
You guys get your
not
cars crushed?
defects though. Yep, not from defects though. I think it's if you get. I think it's so a. Oh, it's something to do with the fucking hooning law. If you get caught under the hooning law for the same thing 3 times, and they crush your car.
What's the same thing 3 times? Is that like speeding 3
So
times,
say,
or like
no,
racing?
hooning
or?
would be like dangerous. Yeah, like drifting or dangerous.
Oh, okay.
Over 40 k's an
Um,
hour, classifies
Yeah,
as
if
as
you
well.
get caught going over 43 times, then they crush your car.
True.
Do you guys get hit with as highly modified as a hooning offence? Because we get, I know in Queensland
No.
if we
No, it's only
No.
Queensland.
We don't lose demerit points for defects
oh really
either.
not.
So the max we can get, I think, is a $400 fine, and
Must be
they don't
nice.
have to.
What?
They don't have to give it to you either,
That's fucked.
and there's no demerit points. Yeah, so they only give it to you. They decide whether to give it to you, which I found out after like the last time I got grounded, like major defected.
Yep.
And I was like real nice to the cop, and he was a wanker from the start. Like he got out of the car, walked up to like the window and said, "Get out of your car, I'm grounding it." And I didn't know what that meant at that point. I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Get out of your car, I'm grounding it." I was like, "I don't know what
Well,
that
like-
means."
like
And
you were
he's
12 years
it's
old
getting
and it's
major
your mum.
defected. You're not. He said, "Yeah." He's like, "You're not driving it again." And I was like, "All right." He's like, "Yeah, you need to organize a tow truck." And I was like, "Oh fuck, whatever, cunt." He was just a fucking dick, and then I think it was like a $480 fine.
Yeah, see that's fucked. I think
That's pretty good.
Yeah, like that's I'd take that.
I'm
over.
very happy that we don't get demerit points, because in all honesty, if that was the case, I probably wouldn't drive at all, because I can't afford to lose fucking demerit points being on P's.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's fucked. Because
If
we
I
have
fucking
we
go back to red P's again, I'm gonna fucking kill myself.
because we lose points and fines. We get fucked up here. I think the worst one I've seen recently was like
Same as Sydney.
Yeah, the worst by far is Queensland in terms of states.
yeah, it's fucked. You get hit with everything.
Bro.
But on the plus side, in Queensland, there's like fuck all highway patrol.
That is so
Yeah,
cap.
but we get
That's-
hit.
that-
But we get
no,
hit
no,
with by
that's-
general
That's
duty.
cap
Really?
as fuck. Dude,
I hear cops
What do you
going
mean? I've
past
literally-
Cody's house every day on Fortnite.
Damn,
I-
I literally.
all day.
Maybe it's just whatever area you're in, because
I
when I go
cannot
up and
drive
see
to the
my
shopping centre,
girlfriend,
which is... There you go,
Really? Bro, I've been up to Brisbane, I don't know, like fucking 12 times, and I'm driving around every single day, and I have not seen a single high patrol yet.
There's...
But our general duties
There's-
pull us over, whereas in Sydney,
2 in Sydney while we were there for World Time Attack.
Yeah,
I saw
dude.
like 2
Every
highway
time I'm in
patrols.
Sydney, it's like deserted from cops. Not only that is your
Yeah.
bike cops only seem to be in the city. Apparently, like our bike cops
Yeah.
are literally everywhere, and like
Fuck
and
bike cops, bro.
they are worst of the worst. Like by far.
we have and then you guys' general duties as
that?
well. Don't pull over. Like when I was talking to Bruce
They
about
can.
it, they don't. but they don't.
every
Our
general
duties
duty
fuck us.
can, but
In Sydney,
yeah.
in Sydney, in Victoria they can, but you rarely see it.
Yeah, like the general duties in Queensland, I think are a lot more cunty than the ones in Sydney. The Sydney general duties seem way more chill.
General duties in Sydney, they're usually quite young, so they don't really care about the cars.
Okay.
I've had a couple like drive behind me, and they'll drive next to me and look at the car, and then they just keep going. Like, they don't seem to care. But I've
Flip
never
you off and drive off.
I've never not been stopped by a highway. Or if a highway sees the car, they'll do a U-turn and they'll always come back.
Yeah. Our we have like Fatal 5 up here as well. As gay as they are, they fucking...
that?
Yeah, we don't have that shit.
It's like a...
Yeah.
What's that?
So our... Cody, do you want to explain what Fatal 5 is?
Fatal 5 is just, I don't know, I guess like they're a higher rank than Highway Patrol. So like you have cops who are assigned to Highway Patrol, and in that division you have like motorbike cops, and then you also have, I guess it's like some tier in the police system, but if you're promoted and you work and you're a Fatal 5 Highway Patrol officer, you just like, I think they promote the cuntiest of the cunt, like, to that. Like they're just absolutely.
But are they specifically
unrelenting.
for modified cars?
No. Fatal 5 is, there's like, it's the 5 fatal things that they have, like a list of like the 5 things, and it's like there's I don't know what the
Like
5 is.
speeding, drink driving.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah. But like they are at the absolute worst if you ever run into them with a modified car. Like,
What is it? Speeding, hooning.
I'll get it.
drink
I'll get it.
Driving, drug driving, and negligent
Half-rap.
driving. Yeah, half rap. And
Fatal
red wheels.
5: speeding, drink driving, seatbelts,
Having a
drug
half-rap.
driving, and medication.
It's funny, the first time I got pulled over properly was by a Fatal 5, and I was on Stockies, and I was going home from work, and the car wasn't like, it wasn't slammed or anything, but she pulled me over, and it was the same lady
For
that
the
had
half-rap?
pulled me. Nah, it was funny you mentioned, because she pulled me over. She pulled me over.
Half-rap.
Like followed me on the highway for about 10 minutes and then pulled me over finally, and then fucking she came up to the car, and she was like, just from the get-go, she was like just angry. She was like, where the fuck is your front number plate? And I was like, oh, like, it's not on the car. And she was like, no shit, dickhead, like, where the fuck did you put it? And just from the get-go.
Surely she's not talking to you.
No, I swear, that was exactly the very first thing she said to me.
If it's people, I know people like to exaggerate their experiences with the police, but if it's a Fatal 5, like, it's honestly not surprising.
Yeah.
It's kind of like those it's kind of like, I guess if you're to draw a comparison, maybe it's like those like task forces in New South Wales that deal with bikies or something. Like
strike force
people.
they're meant to be cunts.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole thing.
Raptor 13.
Yeah, she came out flying, and was going through the car. That's the first thing she said to me. And then she was going around the car looking, and she's like, "You're not allowed to have this. Not allowed to have this. Not allowed to have this."
Did she even know what she
Yeah.
was looking at?
Oh,
The woman?
it's funny.
Did she say, "Where's the engine"?
she was going around like pointing shit out, and had actually taken all the trim on
That's
the inside
fucked,
out.
Caleb.
Yeah, we don't promote that. I'd taken all the trim out to like paint it, and she was
Shut
like,
up.
"Where's the airbag? Why would you pull the airbag out?" And I was like, "I really haven't. Like, I'm more than happy to prove that I haven't."
So you proved my
and
point.
and then she's going through the car, and while she's at the back half of the car, she goes to me, "Rev your car because I told you to change your exhaust." And that was, I got pulled over apparently by this same lady back in like a couple of months after I got in the car. She pulled me over, and it was like fucking 7 o'clock at night, and she was like, "Your exhaust is modified." That was like the only thing I'd done to the car at the time, but it was half wrapped and an exhaust. And she was like, "I'm not going to get you to rev the car because it's 7, and I know it's going to like be illegal." So she gave me
And it sounds
yeah,
terrible.
she gave me a fine for that and was like, "Fuck off." And I never really counted that as like being pulled over properly, because that's all she said to me. But she's like, "Yeah, here's a fine, change it," and that was it. But yeah, she literally was like, "This car used to be half wrapped. I told you to change the exhaust." I was like, "What the fuck?" So I revved it.
Oh, so you got
Obviously-
pulled over by the same bird.
yeah, same bird.
That's
But she
fucking
was
crazy.
back then. She was in like a
Fuck off.
undercover stinger, like way back when.
Yeah, right.
And then now she's been promoted to Fatal 5 and has just gone through everyone. But she was
must have
fucking
fucking
bro. She was
paid them a
so
bit of money.
aggressive at the start, and then she kind of calmed down when I realized I wasn't gonna rebuttal or like argue with her about anything in the car. I was kind of like, yeah, it is what it is.
It's always the first like little bit is the attitude test.
Yeah,
it's
oh,
always the
100%.
attitude test, and like that's why people, as like cringe as it sounds, people like, you got to be nice to the cops. You do to a degree because they're going to attitude
100%. And they like, I feel like they do it constantly because I got pulled over a week ago. Just like in my local area. It was like an undercover. I wasn't even undercover. It was a highway patrol again. I drove past him, no front plate. Wasn't speeding or anything.
Surely you put a front plate on while you're running stockies, bro.
No, because I was at a mate's house and I left the car there and we're literally driving up the street to go to my house and I turned around the corner from his house and he was sitting on the other side waiting for the light to go green. So he saw me and I was like, fuck, surely not. He did a U-turn, chased me up the street. Anyway, it was a fucking like 4-lane road.
You mean chased you,
bro? He sped. No, I'm not kidding. He sped up the road like full was up my ass in a matter of a second.
Walked and got you.
And he came up and I was gonna pull around the corner, but he kept beeping at me. So I literally pulled over in like a main road, like two-way main road.
That'll show.
Pulled over and he came up pretty quickly. Like out of the car, got out of the car, like walked up to the car, and I like the first thing I said before anything, because he has to do like a little spiel about who he is and where he's from. I was like, "Do you want me to move the car to a safer spot?" Because like we're in the middle of the road on like just over the hill, and he was like, "No, stay here." And I was like, "Okay." And then he starts asking me all these questions about the car, and I was like, "Look, I'm more than happy to point out everything that's modified on the car." And even told him that I'd been defected for the same thing prior. He ended up letting me off, but at the start he was very aggressive. But I was pretty upfront. I was like, look, I've been done for this stuff like a couple of months ago.
You don't act like a complete fucking idiot. They're usually like, yeah, he's alright.
Yeah, like, at the end of the day, just be expecting to cop something. If you don't cop a fine, sweet. But your car's modified. I don't get why so many people are like, oh, I enjoy the car. I don't know why they have to hassle me. You're doing the wrong thing. Who cares? Just cop it.
Yeah, but the laws are pretty AIDS.
The laws are AIDS, but like that, we all go into it expecting.
100%.
Oh shit.
So Darius,
I
worst you've
understand.
got is a fine and like a couple points.
Yeah, I think it wasn't even that bad. She gave me more points. The Fatal 5 lady, she actually gave me, I think it was about 4 points, and then just about like $400 in fines for everything all up. She was actually pretty nice by the end of it. It was kind of funny because she came over and she's like, "I'm gonna do you for too low in front plate, and then I'm gonna do like an overview, I think it was I got done for other illegal modifications, which was like $120 fine or something."
Hundreds, yeah.
Yeah, so it wasn't bad. Like I haven't had.
So you haven't been you haven't copped a type 2 or anything?
No,
for
not
that?
yet. The cop that I recently got pulled over by, I was pretty upfront and told him that I'd gotten pulled over and defected for all this, and that they asked me to show the car, and that I tried and they wouldn't let me. I gave him the whole rundown. I was like, look, I'm not making any excuses here. If you want me to bring the car in again, I will. Like, I'm not trying to run from that. And he was like, look, man, I'm not gonna do you for that. I'll give you 2 fines and I'll let you go. And he didn't even get me to stay. He literally was like, I'll just email them to you and you can leave. So that's probably the worst. Like, I haven't had any big fines from any of them, but
What do you get fined for not running a plate?
110 here.
It can
Is
be
that it?
110.
I'm pretty sure ours is like 3 demerit points.
It can also be now. It used to be only like 110 and no points, but now there have been people no plate in Queensland who have got points and like $300, $400.
Yeah, Nash got hit with 2 $400 fines and 2 points, I think it was recently.
Your experience on the whole seems to be pretty good.
Mine's pretty good. I don't think mine's bad. I've definitely seen worse in Queensland, so I definitely, compared to that, I feel like mine's pretty low end stuff.
Yeah, I think the biggest problems in Queensland are 2 things that I don't think maybe most states do or any other state does. The one thing that no states do is the hooning offence for defects. That's a Queensland exclusive. So that's for hooning offences, which can all be defects. And you have to go to courts, and if you were to lose the court case, they could do whatever they want with your car, whether they sell it or crush it, whatever. Like,
What? Wait, what's that for?
Do you know anyone that's actually
no.
like,
So
all the way
what,
to the end?
What I was gonna say is not from defects, but people who are just like those people who just can't seem to like stop skidding.
Keep
and,
losing their
like,
yeah.
Yeah. There's that there's those kinds of people, those Commodore drivers that it has happened to. Like they've got X amount of hoon offences.
Yeah,
and-
fair enough. Let the Commodore
Yeah.
people cop getting their cars crushed if they're going to keep doing skids.
Yeah, I mean, people with defects. I mean, it can happen, but I don't think anyone just like me. Like I stopped driving it until I got rid of one of my Type 2s, so that if I got a subsequent one, it would have been really bad. So they last on your record for 5 years. So I like stopped driving for nearly a whole year until I was back down to 2 Type 2s, and then I could start driving again. But yeah, like that's the big thing in Queensland. The other thing, which I don't know what states do this, but I don't think New South Wales does it. I don't know if Melbourne does it, but the tracking of your license and all the times you've been pulled over by every cop on their iPad. Like any cop that pulls you over here knows your 100% history every time.
Yeah, we have
It's
that.
same thing everywhere.
Yeah,
I
but
got to a point where it's on my license, bro. It's not even attached to my fucking rego anymore.
no, but like
Yeah, it's on your name. It's not the.
Do
No,
they-
it's mainly on the license because if I get pulled over in like my daily, they've never mentioned it, and then when
Yeah,
I got
it's
sent
on
to
your
the UVI,
name. It's
the
not
highest.
the rego.
No,
Do they-
it's to the rego.
do they
because
have like
can't
photos
defect
of
me,
like
they can defect the
every
car.
of everything that's ever happened?
Yeah, or not everything, because it's when the cop takes photos, but sometimes they take photos, sometimes they don't.
Right.
Maybe it's like a
So we
yearly
have
thing.
we have that.
Like
on
I got
our-
pulled
but
over.
yeah.
So anything you've ever driven, anything you've ever modified is
yeah.
on your name.
Yeah, that's because you have that weird Type 2 hoon thing, whereas we don't have that for modified cars here.
Yeah.
We just have
Like-
they'll type the number plates in on the system and it pops up. But ever since I went to the UVI, which is that letter we were talking about
yep.
last episode, it comes up on my license now because I was driving that white GDR I was driving on the weekend.
Yep.
I swapped cars with him for 2 weeks and I went out to Bathurst. I got pulled over and he was like, oh. He's like, I'll run your license, whatever. I said, yeah, no worries. I told him it wasn't my car, and he goes, oh,
What'd
what
you
car?
get pulled over for?
Because it's a GDR in Bathurst, and they were probably very confused. It was just random breaths. They were fine about the car. They didn't give a shit about the car. And he pulls me over, and he's like, oh, this is a nice car, and like you're pretty young. And I was like, oh yeah, it's not my car. I swapped cars with my mate for a week or two. And he goes, oh, okay, what do you drive? And I said, oh, Supra. And he looks at me, and he looks at my license, and he goes, Josh. And I went, yeah. And he goes, is it black? And I went, yeah. And he goes, is it the 2J Josh one? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, oh, yeah, I've heard a lot about you. And I was like, oh, cool. And then he goes,
They sell
oh.
as your mum.
And then he goes and scans my license and comes back and he goes, oh, yeah. How did, he goes, I heard you, oh, sorry, he goes, it says you went to the UVI in the Supra. How'd that go? And I said, yeah, that was fucking shit. And he goes, yeah, I can imagine they're not nice there. And I was like, fuck, these guys know everything.
Yeah, like I got pulled over in my 1 Series, like of all things, like about 6 months ago, and they were like asking me what I did with my 86 and my Audi, like because they just go through and see the whole thing, and
Like what you did to clear it, or
no, like did I sell them? Like where are they? And it was like not in an interested way, in like a prying, aggressive way. And the only reason they asked, like, that they literally said, where are the airbags on this thing? Because all my history is cars with airbags. So, like, they knew what to look for straight away.
Yeah, they're pretty.
yeah, they know what's up, and they're catching on to it now. I think a few years ago, it was it was quite easy to get away with modified cars and like clearing defects and shit illegally, and now they've like in the last 2 years they've kind of caught on to it, and all the police are in the Facebook group Strike Force Puma. They're the guys for modified cars for New South Wales, and they're in all the Facebook groups, and they go to car meets and whatever, and most of them have cars anyway.
Yeah.
And yeah, like when I went to the UVI again, they were that onto it that I got pulled into a room, and this lady came out. She's like, "Oh, I'm so and so. I'm investigating rebirthing of cars and illegal pink and blue slips on behalf of RMS." And then she read me my rights, and then she started started an audio recorder and read out these questions, and I was like, "Fuck, this is like." I feel like I'm balls deep in modifying cars. I was like, my car has tilty fucking wheels
Yeah.
and stretch tires, and I'm getting red my fucking rights. Like, calm the fuck down. Like, this is terrifying. I was like, bro, I'm never gonna be able to drive this car again just because it looks illegal. Like, I've never killed anyone. I've never nearly crashed it. I've never, you know, like, fuck. They take it way too fucking
100%.
seriously.
I don't get why they still have those laws, other than like huge money grab. It just doesn't.
Well, I think it comes down to a few people fuck it for the rest, and they know that people will cut corners, so they're like, well, if you're gonna cut corners, fuck it, all of you can not have the thing. You know what I mean? Like, you know, for you guys, spaces is illegal, as they are here, but they don't really care that much about it. For in type 2 up there.
Yeah.
And you know, they're illegal here, but it goes down to it comes down to like one person doesn't put their spacers on properly, and then it comes off and it causes a crash, and it I don't know, it hits another car. The cops, you know, backtrack what happened to the car. Oh yeah, the spacers fell off. Okay, banning all spacers. Like I feel like that's why these laws have come about, and they just go, oh well, fuck it, because at the end of the day, these cars don't really need these things. So we might as well just leave the laws there because we don't care about making people happy. We'd rather get money from it as well. It's not because they're begging and changing the system to get the money from us. They're like, well, the laws are here. It's either you just have a normal car or we're going to get you in trouble for it. It's not like they're making laws to fuck us. They're just laws that we don't abide by, and we fuck ourselves, really.
What do you say, Caleb?
What a type 2
Can you explain like what type 2 and all? Because I don't know what all that is in Queensland.
Oh well, it's the same as the anti-hooning laws. It's probably nearly exactly the same as the anti-hooning laws that you have down there, except you can get it for a defective car. So, it's like driving over the limit, you know, reckless driving, like skidding, 40 k's over the hour, and a defective car. So
40 k's over the hour though.
40 k's the limit.
That's a lot of hours, bro.
You can get I think the weirdest part about our type 2 is though, you can get them for if your car has nothing else done to it and you have a spacer, they can slap you. It's up to the cop if they want to slap you with a type 2.
Yeah. It's so random who gets them, because like
so a type 2 is worse than a normal defect.
It's really not even related to a defect. It's just they can give you one for having a defective car. Type 2 itself is just an anti-hooning offence.
That's so stupid though, because like the purpose of a defect paper, or in New South Wales anyway, the cop is roughly trained on like roadworthy cars, right? So when they give you the defect paper says, hey, I'm a cop, I think XYZ is wrong with the car, and then you have to take it to a mechanic to get cleared. So I feel like, which makes sense, because a cop isn't a mechanic. A cop is a cop, but they get trained on modified cars and or defective cars or whatever, so they know what to look for. So that makes no sense to me that cops in Queensland get to go, oh, I'm a mechanic now, and this is going on your license because I, as a police officer, think this is unsafe, even though I'm not a mechanic. I'm just someone who is a police
there was
officer.
A few months ago a car, the only defect, so type 2 and the defect notice, which is actually issued, which is the list of things that you need to get clear, are completely different documents. The defect notice that they were given, I think, like it might have had one or two things on it, but it was like barely anything. The main thing was too low, and it was below 100 mil. But they also got a type 2, like just for that, which is like insane, like absolutely insane.
It's fucking stupid, especially because and then like the one thing I hate so fucking much in Queensland is when people go. Like I saw some person did it and they were like, for everyone that's saying my car isn't modified, I just copped a type 2. That's like kill yourself. That shit's so fucking like such an L. It's not an accomplishment to cop a type 2, and people that put their defect stickers or their fucking grounded stickers in their window too. Fat L, don't do that shit. That's weird.
The police put them in your window.
No. Like, I've seen. People will keep them, or they'll get like their letter that says, "Hey, your car needs to fucking never hit the road again," and they'll stick it in their window.
Because it's like a flex of like my car's so modified, which again goes back to I guess our friend that potentially didn't get a real letter because it's cool to get in trouble by the police, apparently. It's a flex of sorts. Makes no sense, but, you know, some people think it's cool. I don't get it. I don't like being pulled over. That's for fucking sure.
Yeah, it's no fun, and it completely dictates
what's
how
your-
all of us drive. It makes us think of when's the best time to drive, where's the best time to drive. Like, it actually affects
And
so
who
much
the
of what
people
we
you
do.
are around as well. I do not drive my car if there's people there that I don't know, just purely for the fact that I don't want some random just start doing a fucking skid in front of like everyone to try and show off.
That was literally that T-way
That's
meet
why I
that I
don't
go
go
to
to
on
meets at all.
Fridays. I fucking pull up. I'm in the Supra. You know, Grant's there, Jack's there, all the other cars. There's a lot of like very, very modified cars that go to T-way these days, right?
Yep.
And we're all chilling there. And what do I hear? Someone doing a fucking burnout as they're leaving. And I'm like, you're a fucking
Yeah,
piece of
sick.
shit. It was an MX-5, Turbo MX-5, I
Embarrassing.
think.
Of course
I
it
remember
was.
seeing it on TikTok. Bro, it's always the shitters. It's always the little fucking kids. I can't say half this shit, but yeah, but it's
Generally
always a
just think that
specific
kind of
type of
shit's cool.
person, and always kids that are yelling and egging these cars on, and then they do skids, and nobody thinks it's fucking cool except for these useless little fucking oxygen thieving cunts. And then what happens? The shitboxes leave as they do skids. The cops come. Who gets pulled over? Me, because my car looks the most retarded. But the shitboxes that don't look retarded that can do skids get let go. This is why like nobody thinks that if your car makes heaps of power and you do a pull, that's fucking cool. Your fucking mum's Commodore isn't cool when it leaves and does a skid. Like, nobody thinks that shit's cool. It was
think
it literally
skids
happened
leaving
at
is so
T-way.
gay.
Osman and I swapped cars. He left in the Supra, I left in the GDR, and as we were leaving, we saw a cop going in, and I'm like, "See, you fuck it for yourselves." It's always
It's
the
so
shitboxes
dumb.
that do it every
And then,
fucking
like,
time.
People will be like, "Oh, you're an elitist because you never come to like general
Why?
meets."
Why the fuck would I?
What
But
is an
it's-
elitist? Like, what people we think
So
we're
I
better
got-
than other people.
Yeah, I got called an elitist because I don't go to any local meets and I don't fuck around
If you
with
don't
anyone
go
in
to
Queensland.
downshift, you're not
Yep.
supporting the
I got
local
called an
community,
elitist because
bro.
I only
Gives a
hang out with a
fuck,
certain demographic. It was fucking
Well,
Queensland
mate,
hilarious.
car scene's
I'm-
fucking poo.
Mate,
so
if you
bad,
look
cunt.
at like downshift meets, I'm not paying $10 to put my car up next to a Lancer on reps with a black bonnet. Like, I'm sorry, but that is majority of those fucking meets. I will not ever, and like, you can hold me to this, I will never take my car again to a meet that isn't status, Black Label, Hot
A show.
Import Night, or a show. I will never take it to a Bunnings car park meet or any of that shit, because all the cars there are not the kind of cars that I look up to or I take inspiration on or what I base my car on, because I have very high standards for cars, and all those cars are fucking disgusting, and I don't want my fucking car anywhere near shit like that.
Yeah, 100%. And then people were like, "Oh, you're an elitist." No, like I just don't want to
It's not a
fucking
fucking
associate.
elitist. I'm not going out to hang out with a bunch of fat fucking losers who drive fucking Lancers.
But then it gets to the
Fuck
point
off.
too. There's like so much more to lose at that point, especially with, like as
because
Josh was
cunts
saying,
ruin it.
it's some random on Commodore. Yeah, you love your car, whatever, but you're
They're
gonna
just
do a
fucking
skid
embarrassing.
and you're gonna get a slap on the
Exactly.
wrist. I'm gonna get my shit grounded and never be able to drive the car I just spent fucking years building.
And
That's
people
what-
go, "Oh, the car scene's fucking dying, and the cops are getting
Yeah.
stricter." It's because you fucking dumb cunts do shit like that. And it was the same as like, remember I sent it some kid's TikTok. It was all these fucking dudes in Melbourne, and they were getting pulled over for doing something, and they're like, "Oh, you fucking dog cunt," fucking yelling at the cops, swearing.
Oh, was
at
it
the
the guys
cops,
that were
whatever
racing?
their name.
Yeah.
And I was like,
no,
"You guys
it's like,
are fucking
like
stupid.
Lebos
This is
fucking-
exactly This
It's
is
like a Lebo offering
exactly
a
why they
cop-out.
fucking hate us. This is
embarrassing
exactly
as
why-
fuck.
And because you know, I don't know, let's say they pull over modified cars, and 2 in 10 modified cars is one of those cunts. Obviously they're gonna fucking label all of us as dicks, and then people do shit like that. Like, bro, why the fuck would they cut us any slack when it's like every couple of people is a fucking asshole? Like, bro,
Exactly.
fuck it. Seeing that shit fucking infuriates me.
And when
No one thinks you're tough talking to the cops like that.
and I say it a lot. Like I've said it a bunch of times. People that are just like that, just straight out have like literally don't deal with cops because their car isn't worth defecting. It's literally, I say again, like a fucking 86 on reps or anything. Like they'll just shit talk cops even though they've never been pulled over or defected or anything. They'll just jump on the bandwagon of hating on cops like they fucking joined the police force just to go after fucking, some cunt's mum's fucking hairdresser 86. Like, fuck it, like it's just embarrassing and it ruins it for everyone who, like, say, like what you're saying, Josh. So we go to a meet, there's some dickhead there revving their car who no one thinks it's impressive. Like, yeah, I understand a GDR revving that sounds nice is cool, but then you just get some dog shit NA auto piece of shit revving its guts out, sounds like shit, and it just ruins it for everyone. And it ruins it for the people that go to those meets, like say a highly modified, nicely modified car, say like yours. Like, it just, why the fuck would you want to go to a meet if that's the kind of people that are there? Like, you don't want to associate with people like that. Neither does the majority of the car scene, and they're the ones that are whinging about the scene being so toxic and the scene being so shit and the cops being horrible, when they're the ones that are just straight out embarrassing themselves and making it even worse for themselves. It's always the people that just straight out embarrass themselves that are like, why does no one like my car? Why does no one like me as a person in the car scene? Why do all these people have clout and I don't? And it comes down to just like how you act and, just all that kind of shit. And it's just fucking gay. And that's one of the main reasons why I will not go to meets, is just because it's embarrassing and it ruins it for me wanting to show people my car, but I just can't because there's going to be some rat doing a skid there and, it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
So
it's like the only good, like, kind of like low key meet that we have up here that happens every like once in a blue moon. Cody, I don't know if you've ever been to Garage Stars. Have you heard about that?
No, I haven't.
So it's the guy, I think it's Rory, the guy who used to run Downshift in Queensland.
Oh yeah.
He just hosts little meets, but he makes them private. And, like, it's just like a small group of people with actually decent cars. No one's there to skid. And
that's
like,
cool.
Yeah, it's
Again,
bro.
that's why
It's
I
one
like
of the
the,
nicest like just car park meets that I've ever gone to, and it always gets ruined because he doesn't post it publicly, and he posts it up, and then a week later, some fucking random is posted on Facebook and it's like, we're having a fucking huge meet right in
Or
this spot on the
cruise
same
to
day.
here. Yeah, and cruise to
That's
here.
exactly why for
Cruise to
when
here.
it was World Time Attack, we did the secret lowdown thing. Because,
Yeah.
bro, as much as, like, I love a good, big meet, right? That's
is so
awesome
much
to see
better.
heaps of cars. But when you leave it open to the public, there's always one person that ruins it. There's always the +1 that just fucks up everybody else. But how good was it going to the
Oh, it
lowdown
was
thing,
such a good
knowing
meet.
it's not full of dickheads, and that there's very good quality cars there, and it's just like stress-free.
Yeah,
You're like, fuck, I can
100%.
actually
Yeah.
chat to all these people because they're like-minded and they're normal and they're not begging for attention. All the cars just stand out and speak for themselves. And this is exactly why, people don't hold meets or want to do any of these things, because it literally takes one person to fuck it for everybody else. That's exactly why I hate saying it, but the car scene's dying. In a way, it fucking is, because people just do shit like that.
Yeah, and then it's interesting too, because I think even when the cops rocked up to that lowdown meet, they could quite clearly see we weren't just a bunch of like P-platers being dickheads. Like, we were doing
No.
something cool, and they were like, "Can you guys respectfully like just leave?" And we were like, "Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine. Like that's okay. You've asked us
And
nicely.
that-
We'll
yeah,
leave."
and
nicely."
And
can you
also-
imagine? Sorry, Caleb. Can you imagine that if I had? So you remember when I was speaking to the highway patrol that came, or both of the highway patrols that came? And can you imagine if I went, "Fucking dogs, fucking ruin everything for us,
Yeah.
you fucking cunts, you're the fucking problem. We're just hanging out with cars." No one did that, and look, they let
Notice
us
how
go.
no one pulled
Yeah.
their phones out, no one filmed them, no one bloody got in their face and took a photo with
Yeah,
them.
but Josh, you might have changed their mind and they might have left. You ever thought of that?
Yeah, bro. If you had made a scene, they might have not called back up.
Yeah, that's true.
They might be like, you know what?
He's
you know
got
what?
a point.
Yeah,
Fuck,
you're right.
Fuck us.
Yep.
Fuck cops.
Pack it up, boys.
But
I-
yeah,
like, is that what those people think? That they're gonna
just-
change
no,
the
because
outcome
look,
by?
it's-
Joey Adelaide
It's
said
always
weird
people-
dogs. Let's back it up, boys.
it's always people that
Home
that when they're recording, it's always constant because they think that they're tough and they think it's
Yeah,
funny, and you know that it's like,
Yeah,
oh,
tough
bro, look
straight
at what he said to the cops, bro. That's so cool. But you know, literally, I spoke to the Highway Patrol and I went, hey, you know, we're having just a car thing. I was like, no one's doing anything stupid. I was like, you know, I can vouch for all these people. And he goes, yeah, look, you all seem really good and you're quite polite and quiet. Like, bro, as soon as the cop came, everybody just went quiet and they just let me and the cop chat and we sorted it out. And he goes, yeah, no worries, just, you know, we're just got to get you to leave and you can go somewhere else. I'm not going to pull anyone over. Like, you're all being,
And which is
you know,
fair
well-behaved.
enough because there
And
was
then he
like
let us go.
50 modified cars.
Yeah,
And,
but he could have, bro. If he wanted to,
Oh,
he
no,
could
no.
have fucking stopped every single
No,
one of us and got us out.
I'm saying it's fair enough that he asked us to move on. It's not like he asked us to move because I think it was because obviously there was a lot of it was 4 levels and a lot of speed humps, so there was a lot of revving and not like revving.
Yeah,
like,
it's just
Yeah,
noise.
yeah,
of
yeah.
a
cars
lot
moving.
of and it was very loud, and I think
those
that's
apartments
why
were, like,
they
right
came
next
up.
to it,
Exactly
so-
right, and that's why they came up. They didn't come up to have a go or anything or to defect anyone. They clearly respected the cars, and again, I come back to notice how all of us, all the same like-minded people, no one had a go at them, no one took photos of them, no one revved their car or tried to be a smart cunt to them. No one did anything. They just said, alright guys, you gotta leave, and everyone said, yep, alright, packed up, you know, and left. And that was that. They didn't follow anyone. You know, I left without a front plate. They
they
looked at
didn't
my
care.
car, did not give a shit. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
I was
like,
the last one out, and I pulled up next to. It was the weirdest feeling. I pulled up next to the High Patrol and did my window down, and I was like, "Hey, mate, I'm the last one out." And he goes, "Oh, okay, cheers." And he said he counted 60-something cars. And then we chatted for a bit and laughed, and he goes, "Your thing's a bit low." And I said, "Oh, it could
And
be
he
low."
knocked you out.
Then he's like, "All right, go have a good night," and left, and that was
and
it.
he beat the shit out of you.
He did. He absolutely boned me.
But yeah, no, it's all just comes down to people that ruin it for everyone and embarrass the car scene. And as I always say, they're the first ones to cry about the, you know, wanting clout or crying about people that have clout or any of that kind of shit.
I think one thing we should talk about is personal experiences with. Why don't we do our best and our worst experience with cops?
Yeah, you start, Josh. You got the juiciest.
Well, my worst experience with the Highway Patrols or just cops in general was I think it was my 3rd defect overall, and it was my first major. It was a series of unfortunate events that weekend, and it ended with me. I was driving home on a Sunday to go back to work on Monday after status, the first status. And I drove into an RBT, and I was like, fuck, here we go. But I was like, oh, I don't know, I've had, you know, pretty good luck with the car. I've had the car for like, I don't know, 3 years at this point. So it's like, it was at its, on the VSXXs, and it was pretty fucking low.
Yeah.
And he goes, this thing, he's like, you're driving down the road, it's literally touching the ground. And I'm like, yeah, I guess, I don't know what else to say. And he goes, pull over
The
there.
tires are.
And he goes, park up over there. And I was like, all right. And then he looks at everything, goes, that's illegal, that's illegal, that's illegal, that's illegal. It was just being an absolute fucking dick. And you know, I'm trying to be nice and friendly and whatever. And then he goes, have you been defected before? I said, yeah, I have. And he goes, right, do you have the papers to that? And this was before, like, this is the first time I've ever been defected in Sydney. So I was like, oh, actually, yeah, I do have the papers to that. And he goes, oh, okay, cool. And then he has a look at the papers, and he goes, oh, okay, so basically everything that you got defected for is still on the car. And he goes, and there's more shit. So he wrote the information number from that defect down on the new defect paper and all the new defects. So there was 2 defect papers for my car. I think it was 15 things in total. And he goes, so that you're getting done for. I think it was $2,200 of fines.
Fuck me.
And then he goes, and
Kill
this is
myself.
probably something that people will learn about anyway for New South Wales, is aftermarket seats that aren't ADR approved are 3 points. And I had also just crossed the border from Melbourne, from Victoria, sorry. So I had the Vic P plates on, And he goes, you don't have P-plates on? I said, yeah, I do. They're in my windshield and on my rear bumper. And he goes, oh, well, they're green background with white P, not white background with green P. And they don't have the 100 on them for New South Wales. He goes, so you basically have no P-plates on in this state to me. And I went, okay. So that was 2 points because I had no P-plates on, according to him. So that was 5 points. And I had already gotten done for non-attracting seatbelts previously. So that was my license gone. He took my license, basically, for defects. And at the time, the car was registered in my mum's name. And he goes, oh, so it's not even your car, is it? And I went, well, it is, but it's registered in my mum's name. And he goes, okay, cool. And he goes, well, go ahead and call your mum for me. And I said, okay. And I said, my mum's, she's a teacher. I call her, she's at school. She's like, oh, what's wrong? Like, I never call her during the day. And I go, look, I got pulled over and the cop that pulled me over wants to speak to you. And he goes, the police officer, and like yells at me. And I was like, sorry, the police officer that's pulled me over wants to speak to you. And he he literally snatches my phone out of my hand. And he goes, look, your son's a very irresponsible driver for having a modified car like this, and you're an irresponsible parent for letting him own a car like this, and for having it registered in your name.
My mum would go fucking in. It would not work out good for me.
And he goes, you're an irresponsible parent for letting your son drive such an unroadworthy, unsafe car on the road. Like, it could harm anyone at any time, and all this sort of shit. And he goes, because it's registered in your name, because my mum was just like, oh, I didn't know it was that illegal. I wouldn't have let him drive it. And he goes, you know what, you should know everything about, road safety. Because it's registered in your name, you're getting an $850 fine for having a modified vehicle registered in your name. So on top of my $2,200, he gave my mum an $850 fine for that.
See, shit like that I can understand. Like, hating cops because of shit like that.
Yeah, and
that's fucked.
It was they set up an RBT in the weirdest spot. It was the middle of summer. It was like 40 fucking degrees in literally direct sunlight. And he puts the red label on and he gives me all the things, and he goes, oh, you'll get all your fines in the mail. And I said, how much is it? And he goes, it's about $2,200 for all the things. And then I was like, fucking hell, man. And then what was it? Oh, he goes, yeah, all right. So he's like, obviously, if you drive it from here, it's another $2,000 fine, and I think they cancels a rego on the spot or something like that if you get caught again while it's red labeled. And I said, can I move it up the road? It's like 500 meters, so I can be in the shade. And he goes, no. He goes, I don't even know if it can make it up the road. It's so unroadworthy. And I was like, are you serious? I said, can I at least have some time to drive it home? I live in Bathurst at this point. I'm 2.5 hours away from home. I live in Bathurst. I got work tomorrow. And I'm not going to be able to make it. And he goes, it's not my problem. You shouldn't be driving a car like this on the road. And I said, how do you expect me to get back home? This is my only car. And he goes, it's not my problem. You shouldn't drive a car like this. And I said, mate, even if I tow it back to Bathurst, it's going to be like $2,000 to tow it like 3 hours. And he goes, I literally don't care. And he got back in his car and he fucking left and just left me cooking in the sun. So I had to call a tow truck. Yep. And then the tow truck I left it at Jack's house. The tow truck back there was like $600.
You should have reported him, because that's fucking very bad. I understand, but I don't. In all honesty, surely there is a law that they can't just ditch you on the fucking side of the road.
I think that's more unsafe than anything, eh? Like, I was like, bro, I'm tired.
If you're like, if you were literally like, mate, I don't have water. It's 40 degrees and I have no way to get to the next server, which is probably fucking ages away.
Like 10 k's away the next.
Yeah, 10 k's away. Then you should have fucking that's fucked.
He said he's like call a tow truck and fucking take it somewhere else, basically.
I would have fucking fuck that rat.
That was my well. I was like, I was gonna drive it because I was like, fuck this guy, and I was like, you know what, my luck, he'll come back, and he came back in 5 minutes and drove past
and checked.
And then another one came past later. So that was my worst one, but bro, it's just my luck. So that was first status, and then second status on the drive back, I also got red labeled. I drove from Melbourne.
Wasn't it the same spot?
Bathurst. No, it was in Lithgow, which is 40 minutes. So I made it. I was driving for I think 12 hours all the way out to Bathurst, and I'm so tired, bro. It's so fucking hot. And I get put into an RVT and I get another red label. And I had already been defected in Melbourne, major defected in Melbourne, cross the border, get red labeled in Sydney. Mr. Worldwide.
Yeah.
So yeah, and he was a dick as well. I said, man, I'm so tired. And he goes, oh, so you're fatigued driving as well. And I was like, bro, please don't do this. I was like, don't play this game. So yeah, I guess sometimes the attitude test helps, sometimes it doesn't. I think honestly being on my P's is one of the things that really set me off, because the last time I got pulled over, he was pretty chill. He's like, oh, I've heard a lot about this car. I'm yet to see it. And I went, oh, that's fucking cool. That was in Bathurst. And then he goes, oh, you know, it actually presents pretty well. These, like, you know, I've seen old pictures of it where all your stuff was all damaged and things. And I'm like, yeah, look, it's a show car now. So, you know, I don't really drive it that much. I just came to get fuel and go to the gym and then go home. And he goes, yeah, understandable. And he did me for a few things and then let me go home. And that was it. But anyway, moving on to my best experience with the cops which was what I thought was going to be my worst experience. I was driving with my mate Matt. He's got a Supra. I was driving with Eric, and there was another car. I can't remember who it was. And one of my mates had just broken up with his girlfriend, so we were all out cruising, just hanging out and stuff. And it was a 4-lane road, and we all pretty much raced. We all pretty much raced on this road, and none of us paid attention, bro. We were racing on this road. We stopped at the lights, and then we all took off, and there was literally a high patrol right behind us, and none of us paid attention. Ultimate stupid. So we all speed we just fang it to the speed limit, right? And he goes around us in the bus lane and puts his lights on, and there's traffic behind us as well. Puts his lights on and he starts like S-ing across all the lanes, and then he stops in the middle of the road and gets out, and he points to all four of us, and then points to the side of the road, like, get off the road, and he's yelling at us, and I was like, fuck. I was like, I'm so fucked now. I'm going to lose my license and cop another major. And he pulls over and he gets out, and there's two of them, and they're attitude testing us. They're like, he goes, give me your license, you're not getting that back. And I was like, fuck, we're going to get done for street racing. And you can get done for street racing in New South Wales once.
But you got up to the speed
it's still
limit.
Yeah, but it's still racing.
But
either way.
I don't get that. That's stupid.
Well, it doesn't matter because he didn't take my license. But again, it comes down to the attitude test, because they'll say X, Y, Z, and if you kind of, you know, you don't, fuck you, cunt, you're not taking my fucking license. They'll be like, oh, try me, I fucking will take your license. Yeah, and then he takes all of our licenses, and we're all standing on the side of the road, and then he comes back and he goes, oh, I can't even remember what he said, but he goes, you know, you all seem really well spoken and nice. And I said, look, to be honest, these cars don't really get driven that often. You know, my mate's just broken up with his girlfriend. We're all just out cruising, you know, having a good time, whatever. He goes, yeah, understandable. He goes, you know what? I wasn't even going to pull any of you over. I was just going to drive past and scare you all. But then you guys did that. And he's like, of course I got to fucking pull you over after that. And I was like, yeah, you know what? Fair enough. That was pretty stupid. And he goes, look, how fast are you going? And I said, the speed limits. We all said speed limit. And he goes, how about I'll do you all for 10 and under, which is 1 point, and I won't put it down for racing. And it was that, and I was like, oh, thank fuck, this guy's being nice. And he goes, who owns the black Supra? And I said, that's mine. He goes, your car's retarded. And he goes, you can pick 3 things you can get defected for, and I'll leave it at that. And I was like, what? And he goes, what's the 3 most stupid things in your car? And I said, ride height, stretch tires, and wheel poke. And he goes, yep, done. And that's what they wrote on the defect paper. And he went and looked at the other guy's Supra, and it's like bone stock. I didn't think he'd get done for anything. And then Eric got done for a few things too. And then the guy with the other Supra, he's like, oh, he goes, you're from Penrith. He goes, oh, I gotta search this guy's car for fucking drugs. He's probably got meth in the back and stuff like that. And he was just fucking around with us the whole time. And he goes, look, have a good night. You got 3 hours to get it home. He goes, look, as much as I'd like to leave it out, I've already stopped you now, and this car's pretty retarded now that I've had a good look at it. So you can go home. And the other guys, he let him go. And that's probably the best experience I've had. They were just joking around, being friendly, saying the cars look nice and they can appreciate a nice car, and that was it.
Sure.
But that happens. Nice. I've been defected 13 times, and that's happened once. So, yeah, most of the time they're just arseholes.
Cody?
Yep.
Best and worst?
Yeah, okay. My bet, I've been biting my tongue. I've been biting my tongue every time someone said attitude test, because I've never experienced it. Okay, I'm so nice. You have no idea. Okay, you like the nicest a
I
person
can
could be.
understand, yeah.
Like
Gerard.
I say this all the time. I might as well be sucking off the cop every time I get pulled over. Like, and I've never had a good experience ever. It's always been cunts and shit. So
How many times have you been
people
done?
that's be about 9 or 10.
Yeah. Fuck.
But for people who on like someone will get asked on like an Instagram questions, how do you handle defects? You just gotta pass the attitude test. Hey, here's an idea.
You
Go
definitely don't.
jump off a hill right now, hey? Hey? Okay? Yeah, you've been pulled over once or twice and had a good experience. That's great. Okay? Shut up. Okay? Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
Let him know, Cody. Let him fucking know. I know you're an
Alright.
absolute hater for the attitude test because so many people are like, just be nice.
Because-
it definitely doesn't come down to it. It's be nice if you've got a boring shitbox. If you've got a fucked car,
It can
they're gonna stop
happen
you regardless.
sometimes. Yes. Like you will just have cops that are cunts, and that's been pretty much my only experience. My worst was it's 1 out of 2. Both times when I got grounded. I was in my 86 and I was driving to Brisbane to get my Rocket Bunny molded on at a body shop. And I was about like 30 minutes away from the shop. And I get pulled, like bike cop, drive past the bike cop and he does a U-turn and pulls me over, and I'd only been ever defected once before this, and it was it was like a proper defect I had to get cleared, but he knew about it because they took pictures and it was the same thing wrong with it. And he just went over it, and that's when I first learned about type 2 because that's when he gave me it. And I was like 30 minutes away from the shop, and the car got grounded then and there. Again, like in the sun, like could not move it, could not do anything. Had to get a tow truck and like organize it to get to the shop, which was like just fucked. But yeah, that was shit. But the shittest one was when I was driving back from hot import nights in 2017, and I got pulled over in Muswell Brook. So I was driving from Sydney to where I live in Warwick, and I got pulled over in Muswell Brook, which is 6 hours away from Warwick, and the cop red labeled the 86. So I had to get it. I effectively would have had to get it towed from Muswell Brook to Warwick, which for the sake of this podcast, we'll say that's exactly what I did. But that would be that's like a very, very, very expensive tow. And I explained the whole situation to him. Just explained it was a show car, doesn't get driven much. We're just driving down for this one thing, and like again, it was just the too low thing. Like it was on stock wheels, so it was literally just the too low and the camber that he was concerned about. But he like wasn't having a bar of it and was an absolute like just fuckhead about the whole thing, like really aggressive. And like having to get it towed effectively 6 hours is like shit.
That's fucked. Like, I don't know how you can't look at the car and go like, oh, I guess it made it all the way here. It can probably make it home. Like, the same as when I got back from Melbourne. I was like, dude, they're like, it's so unroadworthy. I was like, I drove it down to Melbourne from Sydney, drove it in Melbourne for 2 weeks, and I've driven it back, and you stopped me 40 minutes from home. Obviously, it's going to make it whether you think that or not. Like, fuck. Especially towing at 6 hours, bro. That's fucking like $3,000 of towing.
Oh, you
Yeah, that trip was definitely bad because on the drive down to World Time Attack, hot import nights. That same hot import nights in Queensland, I got done on the way there, and got my second type 2 ever there. So like I got done on the way down and on the way back. It was
Cody, you just got done for spaces,
fucked.
bro. For those of you that don't know, Cody's old 86 that used to have like how many spaces, Cody? Be honest, it was like 6 spaces stacked on top of
Custom
each other,
built.
eh?
No. When I got done in Queensland, it had one 50mm spacer on it.
Fuck, that's
but
still
when I
pretty
got done
big.
when I got done in Muswell Brook,
Jack.
it had no spaces on it. When I got grounded. in
But
Muswell
how
Brook.
many spaces did you run at that one point where I've seen that picture where you?
For
Oh my
for
god!
2
God.
weeks.
I thought you were
For
gonna
2
say
weeks,
Paul.
I ran. No. For 2 weeks, It was on 4 Spaces.
Oh my god.
And the whole time it was at home. I was driving. I was still daily in it after Time Attack. So yeah, I guess.
Your turning circle would have
But-
been like a fucking aircraft carrier with fucking 4
But,
spaces stacked on top of each other.
No,
How
no,
much-
it was only in the rear.
How
But,
much spacer was it? Like, was it like 80 mils
It
of
was
spaces?
67. So it was
Fucking hell.
Yeah. But after Hot Import Nights, I never
Couldn't
drove it
put 2
again.
more on, bro.
But that was from Time Attack to the
Trying to
time
set
I
a
got
world record.
grounded. Yeah. I was gonna rebuild those wheels, but never got around to it.
The now you mention it as well, a really good example of like cops' attitude, just towards people as a whole. I remember we didn't get defected, so I completely forgot about this story. But we were at the Brisbane airport. There's like a little tunnel on the left that you can go to like the viewing platform. Really, really cool tunnel. Really nice lights. And we were down there. Taking photos. It was a group of, it was like most of the Fortune Queensland boys, and then like a few others that were there. I think James Fivo with the Mustang he wasn't in at the time, but he was there. Dylan as well with the Evo on the Blitzers. And we were taking photos in the tunnel. We weren't doing anything fucking stupid. Like we're all just kind of sitting up the street, parked on the side of the road, and I forgot that the cops there are the federal cops.
Aren't the Fed cops chill?
Yeah, that's what I thought too. So we had two federal cops come speeding down the tunnel. Harley, who's one of the boys from Toowoomba in an AE86, was driving up to try and tell us that the cops are coming. Anyway, they assumed that he was trying to flee. I don't know why, but they assumed he was trying to flee. Came speeding around the corner, almost took out one of the cars. And this fat little grumpy lady jumps out the car, like while it's still rolling, jumps out the car and's like, "Get the fuck out of the car." Bro, she literally screamed as she's getting out the car, "Get the fuck out of the car now."
I feel like most Australian cops like, fuck, I wish someone was running.
Yeah, bro, legit, because she's like, "Get the fuck out of the
Because
car
they do
now."
nothing here.
And Harley gets out the car, and Harley, being fucking as funny as he is, just starts pissing himself laughing, right? Just looking at this lady and just pissing himself laughing.
Oh yeah, that'll go down well, bro.
Oh, bro, she was furious, and her like fucking partner, right, was pretty much, because we were just sitting there. He looked at us and was like, "You three." Like the 3 cars in the front, he's like, "Yous fuck off, like get out of here now." And he told me to leave. I'm not gonna fucking stick around. I get in the car, go to drive, and there's another cop coming, because I'm in the tunnel at this point. There's another cop coming down the other side. He jumps onto the wrong side of the road, comes straight at me as I'm driving. Anyway, I stop. He gets at the car, and he's thinking because obviously they haven't radioed that he told us to leave. So he obviously thinks that I'm running as well, and he's like, "Turn the fucking car off." And I was like, "Bro, I just got told to leave." And he's like, "What?" And I was like, "I literally just got told to leave by the guy up the street." I was like, "You can radio right now, like I'm not lying." And he radios, and the guy's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "No, I'm not letting you leave. Turn around." I was like, "Fair enough." Escorts like the 3 cars that got told to leave originally back up. And this lady's still going off, and it was like around COVID, like peak COVID, where everyone was inside, and like there was no one at the airport. There was literally no one. All the domestic terminals were closed. The international ones were closed. There was no one there. And she's fucking going off about COVID. Nothing to do with anything to do with defects or anything. She's literally calling everyone a fucking idiot because COVID's so high, and we shouldn't be this close to each other. No one's social distancing. And then she said she was going to fine everyone for not social distancing, which wasn't a thing at the time. And fucking, she's going off about that. She's calling everyone.
Trying to social distance from a fucking.
Yeah, literally. She's going off. She's calling everyone an idiot. She told, I think, one of the girls there I think it was possibly James's girlfriend. I can't remember who it was specifically, but she turned to and was like, I'm disappointed in you that you're dating him. This guy's a fucking idiot. Nothing to do with anything. And she's going off. And the cop that's standing with me, the one who originally told me to turn around, he's like, "Oh, let me just like run your license and see you guys aren't like fucking wanted criminals or whatever." And I was like, "Yeah, easy, man. Like, I'm happy to give you my fucking give you my shit. And he literally standing there, and one of the other guys that was there was like, oh, can you defect us? Like, are you able to defect us? Which one? Why the fuck would you even ask that? But he pretty much,
Smart.
yeah, right. I was like, what the fuck? Like,
It sounds like a smart bunch of people.
yeah, and I was like, what the fuck? And then he pretty much he turns to us and goes, I'm not gonna defect you. That shit's so stupid. And then he turns his fucking body cam off, and he goes, I fucking hate highway patrol. And like, and he just starts. He was like, bro, I used to have like an illegally modified bike. I used to fucking love it. I used to race it. He was like, yeah, it was funny, but it was just that experience. Like, it was just a luck of the draw, because I could have been stuck listening to the fucking Fat Bird going on, or I could have been, I was stuck with the nice cop. But like, there was
Not
nothing.
the Fat Bird.
Yeah, literally, there was
Not the
nothing
Fat
different. There was nothing different in that situation,
Fat Bird.
but the cop. We were all doing the same thing, but we had a nice cop, whereas the other group had the fat bitch. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's definitely down to the person. Like, the cop there was no need for her to start rambling on and telling people
Yeah.
that she's disappointed in them for dating dickheads. Bro was in a tunnel
I
parked up.
actually didn't.
Bro,
I
no matter
didn't say.
what you do. Sorry, just quickly. No matter what you do, fat bitches are gonna be angry.
Caleb's got
All
that
I'm saying.
tattooed across
No matter
his shoulders.
what you do, there's gonna be a fat chick somewhere angry.
and that's
all
on
I'm saying.
God.
No matter what you're doing, some random fat bitch is gonna have a problem with it. They have a problem with fucking everything. It's always the fat ones.
What were you gonna say,
I
Cody?
didn't even give a good cop story, but real quick, just after that, made me remember.
Also, sorry in advance.
the
I'm finding
only-
all these pictures of me getting pulled over and shit, so I'm just spending them into that group chat.
Yeah, I saw
I've
that.
got more. I've got heaps more to come.
The only good cop story I had was from when I was working at Macca's, and so that the generals in town were nice to me, would always give them free food.
Do they? Sorry, just quickly. Do they get 50% off, or do they get
50%
free
off.
food?
We used to give them free food. That was a me,
Really?
that was a me policy. So
Even
that,
if they came in every day,
yes,
you'd give them free food.
Every night they would come in at midnight and literally
Same cops, or?
oh well, whoever's working the shift, and get like 40 $50 worth every time, like literally.
Fuck, really?
And that was that was like a good thing for me, and I got on the good side of our generals in Warwick, which is like, all right, but that they
Person.
but they told me one time
Brutes.
when the Fatal Five were coming to town, so that was nice of them.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, so, did you say a good time you got defected? Because I know you said a shit time.
I don't think Cody's had a good time from the sounds of it.
No,
Cody
I haven't.
hates the cops.
That's my only good cop story is my generals in Warwick telling me that the
okay.
Fatal Five are coming.
What about you, Darius? Did you say?
I
don't think you
I
said
haven't
that
had a
you got
bad experience though. That's my thing. Like, I've had, to me.
Oh no, you did
compared
say.
to-
You said about that.
Yeah, the Fatal Five was the worst one, but it really, like, it doesn't. It's
wasn't
not
that
what I consider bad. You know what I mean? Like, she was angry at the start, but then she calmed down. That's why I said,
Yeah.
like, that she tried to attitude check me. And then the nicest cop I've had, I think, was the federal cop. But that's really about it.
Is it okay? Is it mine now? I'm
Yes,
all
sir. Go ahead.
So I think my probably my worst is when I got major defected. I think it was when I had just finished the car for the first time. Like when I got it wrapped and shit. I was driving it. I think I was starting a new job, so I was driving it to the new job, and I went to the wrong place first, and then had to turn around and go back to the place I was actually at, and of course I went straight past a highway patrol, who cut about 4 people off going through the roundabout, because I was going left of the roundabout, and they were on like the other side facing me, and they cut about, like fucking 2 people off, like almost hit 2 cars, to sit up my ass for about a kilometre. I wasn't speeding or anything, just sitting up my ass, and then he put his lights on, so I pulled over. He walks up to the car and he's like, "Get out of your car." And I was like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "Yeah, get out of your car, I'm grounding it." I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Get out of your car, I'm grounding it." And I didn't know what like grounding it meant at that point. I was like, I don't know what that means. And he's like, yeah, alright, smart ass, get out of your car. And I was like, yeah, okay. So got out of the car, and then he's like, this. I'm grounding it. This is all illegal. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go sit over there. And I got out, like went to get out and walk and sit down. And he's like, no, we're gonna go through what's illegal on your car. And I was like, all right. And he points. He didn't pick up that it was on bag, so he's like, it's too low, too much stretch, too much camber, wheels are the wrong size, tires are the wrong size. Because I think I had wheel spikes at that time, which is gay as fuck. He's like, can't have them. What else he say? He pointed at my, so can't have the steering wheel, can't have the seats. Pointed at my likewise shifter. It was like the pointy one. He's like, I've seen people crash and they've gone through people's eye sockets.
Fuck off.
And I was like, yeah, okay.
That definitely happened.
Definitely
I
never
was-
happened.
Yeah, I was like, yeah,
Can
okay.
confirm that's
I
happened.
was like, alright, yep. And then he's like, now pop the bonnet. And I was like, yep, alright. So I
Got
popped
this
the
one in the
bonnet.
bag.
Yeah, he popped the bonnet, he points at the pod filter, he goes, that's illegal.
This one.
And I was like, no, it's not. That's how I got the car. You could tell me to, if you gave me a stock airbox and said take it off, I would change it because I don't care about a pod filter. And he's like, okay, smart ass. And he's like, it's not put in properly. And I was like, it just has to be attached to something in the engine bay. It like has to be fixed, and it is. And he's like, ugh. And I was like, yep, alright. I'm gonna go sit down
Was
over
he
there.
like that?
Yeah, he just muddled something under his breath, and then I was like, yep, whatever. And then, because I had to get it towed, so I called RACV, who I go, hey, I need my car towed, and they're like, is it running? I was like, yes. And then in the background, the cop goes, no, his car's not running, it's just been grounded. So they go, okay, we don't tow unroadworthy cars. And I was like, are you
that-
fucking serious?
They won't give you the free tow.
Yeah, so I
That's-
didn't get my free
that's
tow
why,
under my insurance. I was like, are you fucking serious? And he's like, don't modify your car then, mate. And I was like, I shouldn't have, but I was like, oh, fuck off, mate. And he's like, what? And I was like, just fuck off, cunt. And I turned around and fucking walked off. And I called my dad and told him, and obviously he...
That'll
and
help.
obviously-
That'll tell
yeah,
him.
and obviously
Caleb
he
failed the
he
attitude
wasn't
test,
happy.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like I was good the whole way, and he was just a dick the whole fucking time. And then I was like, I was like, fuck off, cunt, and I just walked off. And then so my car was still on, like he was fucking defecting my car, whatever. Put the sticker on, and then he's like, all right, if you drive your car, I'm gonna fine you. I was like, all right, so what? I have to get another tow truck? He's like, I don't care. Say it's the same kind of thing as Josh. Got in his car, left, and I was like, yeah, whatever. So I aired the car out, and he drives back past like 5 minutes later and goes, "Is that on airbags?" I was like, "Yeah, it is. Eat a dick." And then he just kept driving, and didn't see him again. I was like, "You fucking faggot," because he'd already fucking major defected me, and I was like, "Yeah, it is. Eat a dick." And then I don't think I said eat a dick. I think I was like, suck shit or something.
Cap.
And then, yeah, and he drove off, and then I had to get it fucking towed. And the guy was a fucking loser. Like, he was... the fucking tow guy was just a fuckwit. But yeah, got the fucking car home, and then... I think a week later, like, I cleared the defect, and then fucking popped the bag. I think, no. Yeah, anyway. So that was probably my worst, and I think my best was... I think I was just driving the car and I got I went past a highway patrol on the highway because they were always, oh, not much anymore, but they were always sitting out. You know when they sit in the middle of the highway, like they were sitting there. And I drove past, so they drove out. And they're like, oh, you know, this is when I think I'd just done the silver car, like sorry, fucking silver wheels, whatever. They pulled me over and they're like, oh, you know, this is pretty illegal. Has it been defected before? I was like, oh yeah, it has. It was probably like 2 years ago though. And he's like, yeah, okay, all right, where are you heading? And I was like, in all honesty, because I had my camera in the front seat, and I was only like 2 minutes away from home. And I was like, oh, in all honesty, I'm just going to um, take it. I was like, I'm literally just going to take photos of it. And he's like, oh, well, it's not registered. And I was like, oh, no, it is. I just paid the rego. Like, the reason for that is because I'm driving it. I haven't driven it in that long that I just didn't pay the rego, but I just paid it, so it should be good. And I showed him the receipt, and he's like, yeah, no, that's all good. And he's like, so where are you heading? And I was like, oh, I'm not sort of sure yet. I'll probably go to, like, the winery, which is literally like a minute on the highway. And he's like, yeah, okay, that's all good. He's like, do you drive it much? And I was like, no, not really. Like, in all honesty, I never drive the thing. Like, it probably sees the fucking light of day, like, once every 2 months. And he's like, oh, yeah, okay. And then he was just asking me, he's like, oh, are you doing much to it? And I was like, I just said, I was like, no, I'll probably sell it. Just so, I just said that so he was like, didn't think, oh, he's going to do this in the year. So I think that, and he's like, all right, all good. He's like, I won't hold you up any longer. And then, yeah, I think that was probably like defect wise, but with getting pulled over, when I lost my license, I got pulled over by a cop. Like, I was fucking speeding. There was a Commodore sitting up my ass. That's why I spared, and it was a highway patrol. Went undercover. And then so he's like my car got impounded and shit, and I lost my license for a year and 3 months, I think.
How much were
And
you
he's
fucking
like,
speeding by? Holy shit.
I think I was going like 43 over, I think.
Fucking hell, cunt.
Oh.
And yeah, and he's like, he impounded the car, and he's like, I think he gave me like 8 months before I had to go to court. So I still drove for 8 months or whatever. But it's just the car was impounded for a month. And he's like, yeah, I'm not going to fine you. Oh no, sorry, no. I think it was a fine, but when I went to court, they got rid of the fine. Because I had to pay for some safe driving course, and then I had to pay like $1,000 to get the car back. And all that. But they were pretty cool. They were just like, oh, this was when I like got the car, so it was like, I think it was like on coilovers and reps, and he's like, oh, this is defectable, this, like tires, blah blah. He's like, I'm not gonna defect you though. He's like, there'd be no point, and I was like, oh yeah, all good. And then yeah, that was pretty good. And then I think as soon as I got the car back, I got pulled over by the same cop. Like, I wasn't doing anything. He just pulled me over. He's like, I see you got your car back. And I was like, oh, yeah, you're the guy that pulled me over. He's like, yeah. He's like, just don't be stupid again. And I was like, yeah, it's all good. And then, yeah. I sort of think, when you get a Japanese car, I think everyone's sort of like, oh, you're going to get pulled over so much. You're going to get pulled over for nothing all the time. Which is sort of what my dad said. And I really never got pulled over other than when I was doing dumb shit. So, yeah, now I just don't do stupid shit. It's not fucking worth it.
Nope, never fucking is. You know who would have been good to have here if Jack was still here is him. Because, man, he's got some fucking stupid stories of him getting pulled over. And he's just he's just such an idiot when he gets
He's just an idiot, so like, yeah.
No, he says funny shit and then, I'm like, bro, this is why the cops fucking hate you. I'll go out and see if you're still here.
While you're seeing if he's here, I'll just say, so like, I was in the city with like Gerard, like it was like Gerard, Sarah, Lanal, like a bunch. There's like 9 of us, like my girlfriend, all that kind of stuff, and we were riding the scooters. This is probably like a month and a half ago, and we're riding the scooters, and we all we all fucking ran a red light. None of us were wearing helmets, and then some of us had people in the back. And so, which is stupid, and then so a highway patrol fucking speeds up our asses, full cuts me off into like the fucking, cause we were riding on the road, cuts me off like into the fucking footpath, so I had to like jump off the scooter, and like quickly like fucking like slammed the brakes on, got out of the car, and he was like, it was like a young guy, like fucking, like something to prove kind of thing, and he's just like, get off the fucking scooters right now. And I was like, mate, we're off them. And he's like, get off them. And I was like, yeah, alright. And he's like, everyone over there now. And they're like, yep, all good. So we're all standing there, and he's like, do you know how dangerous this is? I saw someone get cleaned up at the exact same intersection on one of these the other week. And I was just like, yeah, of course you fucking did. Just, yeah. he's just like, oh, this, that, fucking so dangerous. And I was like, I just said to him, I was like, mate, you literally just fucking almost hit us to pull us over. We weren't going anywhere. We were all stopping. And you almost cleaned us up. And he's like, oh, well, yeah, you almost got cleaned up at a set of lights, blah, blah, this, that. And I was like, yep, alright, whatever. And then I think at that point I was just like, I'm not even going to fucking say anything to these cunts. And then they were just telling Sarah and, like, Gerard and all that, like, oh, stay away from this guy. You're fucking lucky none of yous are getting this. He's a fucking smart ass. And, because some guy walked past and laughed at us. And I was like, yeah, come here, you fucking fat cunt. And, like, had a fucking go at him. And then the cop had a go at me for having a go at him. And he's like, why would you do that, mate? I'm like, because he's fucking talking shit. And he's like,
Because he's fucking
yeah.
fat.
Yeah, and he said something. And I was like, yeah, but I'd kick the fuck out. He said something about being worried. And I was like, why? I'm not fucking worried. I'd kick the fuck out of that guy. And he's like, no, I mean, because I'll fucking arrest you if you do. And I was like, yeah, alright. And, like, you can ask Gerard, like, all this shit, like, fucking... I
remember this because you guys all got like $800 fines for riding without helmets.
So we all got $800 fines.
One of the people that were there, they were like, "It's fucking annoying because we probably would have got let go if Caleb just shut the fuck up."
No,
Yeah.
no, we wouldn't have.
Yes.
No, before I'd really said anything other than the fact they said you're all getting fined for not having a helmet, being a passenger, and running a red light. Because we're like, oh, sorry, won't do it again. And they're like, we don't care. You're all getting fined. And then that's when everyone got fucking pissed off. And then there's there was 3 guys, not on scooters, sorry, not with helmets on, riding on the footpath, standing on a box of Corona on one of the scooters. And I was just like, mate, what about them? He's like, I don't give a shit about them. I'm dealing with you guys. And I was like, yep, alright, whatever, cunt. They didn't actually care about the fucking dangerous ones. He just fucking wanted to get, like 10 of us. But yeah, as I said, they got straight out of the fucking car and, like, had a go at us and was like, get off the fucking things now, and, like, almost hit us. And it's just like, at that point, it's like, I don't even fucking bother being nice to them because it's not gonna fucking get me anywhere. If they're gonna be a fucking dick, then they're gonna fucking get it back.
Yeah. I don't know.
I do understand the attitude.
You just built different, bro.
Thing.
Even when they're being dicks to me, I still try and be nice because I remember I got put. This is the stupidest thing I've ever been pulled over for. This was don't judge me because I was fucking. I don't even know how old.
Judging you.
I was on my red P's. Anyway, I was racing this 86 on like a pretty fucking main road, not thinking properly. I was doing 140 in a 60, and I got pulled over, and the cop's like, he goes, give me your license. He goes, you'll take that. That's gone for a year. And I was like, fuck. And then same as the guy in the 86, he gets his license, and that's gone for a year. And then I was like, fuck, like, it's not even, like, I gotta go home, and my mum's gonna beat the fucking shit out of me, and I'm also gonna lose my job, because I worked, like, half an hour away at that point. And I was like, fuck, and he was being a fucking dick, like, this is worth this amount of money of fines, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and I was like, oh my god, my life's about to fucking end. And I was just being nice and quiet and whatever, and then he sits in the car, and he was sitting with the other guy, and they were chatting in the half patrol car, and I come back out, and he goes, well, we'll let you off with a warning, for this, blah, 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 like, you guys are pretty, like, remorseful and whatever, and I was like, fuck, I guess, because I was very, very, very close to going, fuck you, fucking talking to me like this, calling me a dumb kind of shit, which I was. But, at 17 on my red P's, I didn't know any better. I just thought it was fun going fast, which it was. But looking back at it, like, fuck, if a car pulled out and I'm going 140, I would have died. And I would have killed somebody else as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Caleb, you just built different, bro.
I've literally never argued with a cop in my life, even if they're saying something that is wrong.
I'll argue about something.
I'll just be like, yep, you're right.
I'll wait till I can see exactly what they're going to do. If I know there's no chance of getting out of it, then I don't give a shit. If I'm not going to fucking get out of it, and they're going to fucking treat me like shit, I don't give a fuck. Why do they deserve my respect if they're going to treat me like absolute shit just because they got a fucking badge on? They can go fuck themselves, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, you just built like that. I don't argue with them very often.
Understand.
There's a couple of things I've argued about, like, what was it? I got done for my steering wheel. Series 1 Supras don't have airbag, and he goes, you've removed the airbag, that's 3 points. I was like, doesn't have an airbag. He goes, yes it does. Alright, no it doesn't. It's Series 1. I think airbag's got introduced in 95 and above. And he goes, not true. And I googled it. I showed him a picture, and I was like, look, doesn't have an airbag. And he goes, yeah, okay, should have a padded center. And I was like, it doesn't say that in the ADR book. And he's like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And then he let it go. I think that's the only time I've ever argued. And windshield tint as well.
That's fair.
I argued about that because the tint.
Wait, why did you have windshield tint?
Why did I?
Yeah.
Because so I don't have to wear sunglasses.
Why
And
wouldn't?
it looks good.
Why wouldn't you?
I thought that's
Windshield
you're not allowed
tint
to have
is-
windshield tint at all.
You're not. I'm not allowed to have half the shit on our cars and we still have it. I
Correct,
don't
yep.
understand where that statement came from. Do you,
You looked at your car.
Yeah, but I thought no one.
Caleb all of a sudden's turning over a new leaf live on the potty.
Draw the line at
I thought
tint.
that no one. I thought that no one would do front windshield tint at all.
no, heaps of people do
I've
it.
got a
Yeah,
mic on.
Cody's got a blue one.
I just
Cody?
thought people wouldn't do it.
Clipped, right?
Yeah, Cody, you don't have it on your car. It's blue.
I took it off. I took it off yesterday.
Check the Instagram chat, Caleb. That's how dark my windshield tint was.
But I think for most I think most people would be satisfied with being able to just engineer half the things that we get defected for. Like
the fuck?
there are some things
So how good does that look?
which I will
Yeah, it's cool.
there's some things that I'll totally concede on being unsafe.
What do you
and
like? What?
that,
Out of curiosity.
There's not many. I
backside,
think stretch tires.
I definitely think stretch tires are illegal to a degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
If they come off,
unquestionably,
yeah,
it-
100%. If they
Miss
fucking
30,
come
Miss
off,
34
100%.
restretch, bro. That shit looks very unsafe.
extremely.
Yeah. So there is a point there, and also there is a point where camber probably gets to that
Yeah, I
stage
agree.
as well.
I think more than 10 degrees is pretty fucking stupid.
I'd say that's probably
You know, I was
where
thinking
it
about
is,
this
yeah.
today as well. Now that we're talking about it, what if? I know it's not going to work, but hypothetically, if you were to have a certain amount of camber, but if you had a certain brand of tire that compensates for the lack of contact patch, would it cancel it out? Because think about it, if I've got like a fucking Ling Long front tire, so I've got 225 40 18 on a 10, and I've got 10 degrees of camber in the front. So however much of that contact patch is on the ground, right? On a shit tire, it's probably not very good. If I was to get like Michelin Pilot Sport 5 and then have that contact patch, it'd probably be better than having a full
why, though?
225 touching the ground.
Yeah, so
For grip.
so this is
the purpose of camber that makes
this
it
is-
illegal is because you've got less contact patch, which means when you go to turn or brake, you can't stop as quick because you've got less touching the
This
ground.
is what I'm saying. Like most of the things that we do to our cars can be done safely. And why can't we get that engineered? Why can't
I don't
we
see why
measure?
low is. I will never understand that.
Yeah, I don't get that either. I think it's more the roads that are the problem. Like, I know it's easy to deflect it onto the roads, but hypothetically, the reason I think low can be an issue is because, like, if you're driving somewhere and you hit something and it flicks up, that can be illegal. Or you're driving somewhere like Jack, for example, bro. That rear bumper has come off at like 100 k's an hour before. That's because the car he drives.
That's
it
such
like,
a Jack thing.
Yeah.
Bro.
I know. Yeah.
That's unsafe, but that's because the
But again-
rear bumper's probably not fixed.
No, but also
right.
if the roads
So-
were flat like Japan, we wouldn't have this problem.
yeah.
Very easy to
But
point it
so-
at that.
so-
Yeah,
but
mate,
with-
ifs and buts
with
with candy
camber-
and nuts, we'd all have a better Christmas.
Caleb, yep,
I've never
right.
heard that before, and I never want to hear it again.
No, you just did.
with camber, if we can measure the things that are making it unsafe, why can't we get an engineer to is it stopping distance that's reduced? What's the number on stopping distance that needs to be
It's actually-
achieved? And how
For New South Wales, anyway, camber isn't illegal, and I don't think it is in any of the states because camber is part of an adjustment in your alignment because you're not going to get defected for 5 degrees toe in, are you? Because it doesn't do anything. It pulls your car to the
Yes.
side and it's heaps more unsafe than camber, but you don't get in shit for it.
Correct.
So wheel poke is the issue. So technically, could you not have heaps of camber and have it inside the guards? Because the law is wheel poke. They'll write down camber on the defect paper because they'll make the mechanic check over it. But
I
when
don't
was the
think
last time your
poke-
mechanic goes,
no,
oh,
poke
you have an
isn't-
issue?
yeah.
But poke isn't like they'll do poke and camber. Like poke isn't.
Yeah, but you're poking because of camber. But
if
the
you have a
look
wheel
is
too big
camber.
with 0 camber, like if you just have a wheel that's
Yeah,
fucking
Caleb,
the offset's
listen.
shit.
I'm saying for our look, the wheel is poking because we have camber. Because we've made the top sit in and the bottom sit out.
But if you were to bring it in so it doesn't protrude the guard, it would still be poke. I mean, it would. Wait.
Yeah, but camber.
It'd be
there is no
camber.
camber law. There's no camber law.
Yes,
Because
there is.
no, there's not.
Yeah, that's true.
I can guarantee you, Caleb. Trust me, I've been pulled over enough times. There is no camber law because it's part of an alignment. You're not going to get done for fucking caster, or get done for I don't know, toe in.
I had camber written down on my defect thing. And
Yeah, but they write it
Just
because the cop
just
writes
because
it
they
down
write
doesn't
it
mean it's
down.
illegal. But when a cop pulls, so I could get defected for ducktail, for example, because he thinks it obstructs my view. When they write it down on the paper, that's saying I, as a cop, think this is illegal, but you have to hand the blue slip or the blue defect papers to a mechanic, and the mechanic goes, I'm qualified in this, and I say it's not illegal. So, for example, right, Grant just got done, and he got done for Recaros, and because Recaros come factory in majority of cars, like he's got SR2 Confetti, which comes factory in RZ Supras, and SZR Supras. He's got SR2, and so I don't think that they're illegal, right? And he was under the impression they were illegal either, which is why
Don't you have to have paperwork?
No, you have to have paperwork for ADR approved seats, like the carbonatic.
Are they not
ones.
ADR approved?
They don't need to. They don't have to have the certificate because they come factory in cars. So if I bought an RZ Super right now and it came factory with Recaros, it doesn't come with papers to say they're factory. It's their factory.
Yeah, no, I know, but because Confettis didn't come factory in a car.
They did come factory in a car. They came factory in Supras.
What, Confettis?
Yeah, that's what they come out of. Confetti SR2
really?
came factory in SZR and RZ Supras. Yeah.
Oh, the fuck, I didn't know that.
Yeah, SR2 Confetti were from that. So yeah, basically the law is the cops are stating, I think this is illegal. Can the mechanic check this? So when the cop writes down camber isn't illegal, but the cop thinks it's illegal. And the mechanic will go, your wheels poke out of the guards. Or they'll go, technically, yeah, it is maybe not illegal, but it's unsafe because you have less of a contact patch. Every car has camber factory. You have natural camber adjustment anyway, so it's not illegal, but just excessive negative camber can be unsafe. It can't be deemed illegal though.
If
there's
it's
so many
if it
numbers to
modifies
dial
your
in.
track width,
Yeah,
then it
it's
is.
If it what?
In Queensland, if it I believe it's your track, like your track width. If your track width is modified from it's
26
yeah,
mil or
which
something
camber
like that.
sometimes can, depending
It can
on
do
what
that,
you
but
do.
how can they measure that?
They can't. They're just guessing.
It's no. It's they have a calculator. A highway patrol's used it on me. I don't know if they have makes and models and their stock like saved into the thing, or if they go off.
They just go on willtheyfit.com and they see.
Yeah. But yeah, there's so many things, like the majority of stuff that we get defected for should be able to is safe.
Yeah, it's
is
not the end of the
fundamentally
world.
safe.
There's a lot of
and should be
stupid
able to
things
be
out there.
engineered. Like Victoria is, I think, the only state that you can actually get like airlift engineered properly and
And
be
air
able
out
to
properly?
like air out.
Oh,
yeah,
okay, because New South Wales, it's like have airlift. It can't work if your handbrake goes down. You can air out. It's illegal, and it has to stop at 100 mil.
Yeah, it's some.
It literally can never be under 100 mil,
That's so
like
dumb.
ever. But yeah, in Victoria you can get the whole thing done. That's what
Can't be, just wouldn't.
I've been told.
Yeah, like I've been defected for the
would-
stupidest shit before, like LED bulbs in my headlights. I'm like, bro, have you seen the factory super boring warm headlights? I was like, for starters, they're ugly, and second of all, I can't see shit. But I got defected for it, so I was like, so me being more safe trying to see the road is illegal. Like what? Aftermarket number plate lights, that's illegal. I'm like, what? Clear tail lights? Oh, you have no rear reflectors. So if there's a car driving and you're parked on the road and they don't see your car, it doesn't reflect. Well, maybe open your eyes because there's an entire car there you can probably look at before you see my reflectors and hit the car. Like, the fuck?
Yeah.
There's some fucking stupid laws out there. Things like windshield tint.
Yeah, 100%.
50% windshield tint. You can see through it still. It fucking...
You can't see through it as well as normal.
No, but,
my fucking
no,
eyes
but
get sore, bro. What's the difference with wearing sunglasses? I can wear sunglasses at night time. That's not illegal.
Yeah, and
I feel like it is.
different countries.
Probably is.
Bro,
It wouldn't surprise me if
I'm gonna look
somewhere
that
that
up.
was illegal.
I'm gonna Google it right now.
different
Yeah,
countries allow you to tint your windshield.
Yeah.
Like I have 35, and it's literally I
not in a
never
different
suffer
country?
from not being able to see shit.
It's not illegal to wear sunglasses while driving at night. Doesn't mean it's recommended though.
Yeah, legit.
No, my whole thing about posting stories about defects, I think.
Yeah. What is your vendetta against people
What is
posting
this thing?
stories about
I just think
defects?
it's
You
such a
fucking have brought it up so many times.
I think it's just an attention-seeking thing. Like Caleb agreed with me earlier about like if you're milking it, if you're milking it and you're like flaunting it in a sense, that's weird to me. I don't. That shit's just so.
If you're flexing that
I
you
think
got
the problem
defected,
is-
it's gay.
Yeah.
No one cares. Like, why do I need to see
Yeah, but-
32 stories of your fucking, of your fucking defect if you're some piece of shit on reps and you have bad fitment? Like, there was some cunt in our area who fucking literally got defected for poke, and it was his whole life that he's now the defect king, and he's been defected, and his car is now highly modified because it's been defected, and it was literally like fucking legal height on reps with no stretch and shit fitment, so the wheels were fucking sticking out a bit. I think it had a little bit of camber, with no like camber arms or anything, just because I don't fucking know, he lowered it a little bit.
And then they always be like, got off lucky, only got done for too low.
Yeah.
Nah, my bro, he got
Yeah.
you for everything.
You got
Yeah, but he
nothing
got you
left,
for
bro.
everything you had, cunt. But yeah, and like, so that was in our, like, and then he's changed his profile picture on everything to him standing on his car, pointing at his defect and
Oh no.
all that shit. And I just thought that was fucking embarrassing as shit. And
Okay,
that's
yeah,
why
I
I just
understand
always
that.
thought it's gay as fuck.
Yeah.
I
Like,
thought when
flexing
Darius
it
was
is,
like posting about it, I feel like It's-
For the way Darius said it, he's like, never talk about it.
No,
just
I don't care.
about
Like,
it.
say,
you get
take
defected, shut up.
Grant, for example, he's just put on his story a couple of times, fair enough. But, like, if you're just milking the fact that you got defected because you think getting defected is a flex, it's not.
Yeah,
And you need to shut up.
that's my point.
yeah, okay, well, fair. I agree, Caleb. I think there are definitely some people out there that I know that milk the fucking shit out of getting pulled over, and they're like, "Oh, my car's so illegal. I'm such a criminal."
Yeah, and it's gay.
oh, blah blah blah. I feel sorry
Stop
for me. I
that.
got pulled over. But yeah, I don't think like.
And the people that
posting
go,
about
oh,
it is that much of an
just
issue."
leave us, and like another thing, the people that just go, oh, fuck cops, just leave us alone. We're just a community that's trying to have some fun and be out with each other, and we're not out doing drugs
It's
and
my
this and
escape.
that. It's my escape. Blah blah. It's like, bro,
They don't understand me, bro.
bro, yeah, you willingly.
My escape from
Yeah.
reality.
You willingly built your car illegally. You have no right to say, leave me alone. Like, shut the fuck up. You're playing the same game as everyone else that fucking modifies their car. Shut up. If you suck, shut up. I don't fucking care that you got defected. You deserve it. And just like if someone said, oh, haha, you got defected, I wouldn't get annoyed. I'd be like, yeah, I did.
Yeah, I think some people definitely whinge about it fucking way too much. I think that the laws fucking suck, but there's no point in complaining about it because you go into modifying cars knowing what the laws are anyway, whether they suck or not.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
So we decided to cut the episode here just because we will be releasing the second part of this episode later in the week, just due to it being a lot bigger than we had originally planned. For those who aren't aware of what we're doing and don't follow the Instagram or in the Discord, we're building a live ranking system that will be updated week to week. every time we do release an episode and have cars added to it going forward. Positions will obviously change with modifications, paint, wheels, other things like that, and we will be getting guests to highlight one car that that's grabbed their attention recently and get it added to the list as well as just like a little extra. So I do appreciate everyone that has stuck around and listened to the very end. Stay tuned for the part 2 that'll come later in the week. Oh, don't forget to fucking wave when you merge.
The